Hey guys, welcome to a new market update video. It's Monday now, right before this goes live, so the data should be pretty accurate in terms of price action, etc. But as usual, we mostly focus on the higher time frames and just my general views on the market. As we just ended this month, it was quite a good November to say the least. Like BTC is up 37%. Let's see, what did E do? I think it outperformed, especially with his latest push. Yeah, 47%. And of course, many alts doing like 2-3x multiples. For now, we're consolidating a bit. We didn't open up with a gap this month. We closed it right away at the start of the month. So no CME gap or anything to look out for. Price coming down a bit. Memes especially consolidating or coming down quite a lot, which in my opinion wasn't that crazy as the market was very saturated. There was a Binance listing nearly every day on these new coins, which were running up to like 500 million plus, and they were just diluting each other. And now with like coins like XRP and just general the majors moving mostly, and even ETH, it makes sense that the shine of or the spotlight of the memes is kind of being taken away and all the liquidity is flowing into these majors, which I think is much more sustainable for a longer uptrend than these memes popping left and right. Having said that, not sure in the short term here. I do still think at some point we'll go for that 100k and then take it out, likely get us to like 110, 120 just by the sheer media attention and how much people are going to talk about Bitcoin being at 100k. Usually that has an effect where it just keeps on going for a while, gets some decent momentum. But for now, we have a new month. It's the 1st of December. What we have seen in the past few months, which you've seen me talk about, I think, is the fact that usually the first 4 or 5 days, or let's say first week, has seen like an opposite reaction. So in this case, let's go back to November. You can see here, month starts around here. We go down for a few days and then we bottom on, in this case, the 4th of November, and then we are up only. When we go to October, we see the same. We went down. It bottomed a bit later at the 10th of October, and then we go up. If we go to September, same thing. Here the new month starts. We go down only 6th of September and up only afterwards. So this has been going on for like half a year now, where the first, usually it's the 5th. Of course, don't quote me on that. Like it's pretty random. Of course, it can be the 3rd, it can be the 6th, it can go the entire opposite way. But this is just a pattern that has been unfolding for quite a while now. It started actually here, I think, yeah, in June. So here we went up first until the 7th of June, which was the top, and then the entire month of June was basically down. And since then, it's been the opposite way, where the first few days were down and then up the rest of the month. And what makes that is the fact that you get these nice wicks down on these up candles, after which they just retrace the entire thing and then go into the green and keep going. So I wouldn't say like it's even if we go down quite a lot, well, not quite a lot, but let's say we head to like the high 80s again somewhere in the next few days, which is just a few percent move, so it's nothing really. Don't be like super stressed or anything. Like I think it would be healthy, just take out a lot of these late shorts that are pricing in or like already being positioned for this 100k break. Take them out, then just chop around for a bit and then start the next ascent up. If I think that's likely, I don't know. I'm really not trading this at the moment. The later we go into the cycle, I'm just gonna take it more conservative. I'm happy scaling out some profits or more profits if we go above 100k. I'll do it very slowly, as I do think we'll have quite a lot of room to move still, especially on some alts. But I don't think it's for me personally, it's a bad idea to take profit. Like I'm not in this at this point to get like the maximum return. I'm trying to get a good return based on the risk I take. I'm not like aiming for another 10x or something from here, because the biggest gains are already made in terms of multiples, especially on Bitcoin. I think alts can still do crazy numbers, but I mean BTC is up like 5-6x from the bottom, so yeah, you're not gonna get that again. You will get a 2x maybe if you're lucky, I'd say. But having said that, that's basically it for now. Just sitting this out. I think if we get like a proper flush lower to like, let's say, let's draw a fib from this last leg up. Yeah, so let's say 37, or sorry, not 37, 37 to 88. I'm saying it again. Nice. Good morning. 87 to 88 would be a decent place for me, depending on the reaction there. That would get me interested in some longs on some strong alts maybe, which then could turn into like a nice, or could be aimed for a nice swing trade for the next few weeks or something. Moving on, I mean, this is gonna be hilarious if this goes the way it goes. It's basically at the same height now from my random doodle from earlier this year. No, well, let's keep it on there. Okay, so the total 2 market cap is getting closer and closer to its all-time high. Not too much interesting here. I'd say here as well, let's say it retests here. I think that will be a perfect place, like probably the last major dip you'll get for a while on alts in general. So keeping an eye on this level. But for now, like we're right in the middle of everything. So I'm just holding my spot, not touching that. But in terms of longs or shorts, like I'm not shorting at all in a market like this. In terms of longs, I think it's a bit sketchy here, being in the middle of nowhere. I'd rather wait for lower or for consolidation higher up. And then ETH, it's just climbing and climbing. It's a bit volatile, like you have these minus 5% moves in between, but so far the ascent is nice and it's outperforming Bitcoin for a while now. We can see that clearly when we go to ETH BTC. So when we zoom in, since this point here, it's just been making higher highs, higher lows. It's pretty clean, not much to say here. It's just an uptrend on this time frame. Of course, when we zoom out, it has a lot of room to cover still if this really wants to change this around. For that to do the next step, it would need to make some proper higher low here and then break this high to also make a higher high. And in that case, the daily trend would be flipped back to bullish. But of course, if we zoom out even further, like the weekly, monthly trend, everything is down. So still has a lot of work to do. But yeah, I mean, it's somewhat promising, and you can already see the effect it has on alts, seeing how much they all move. Just because ETH BTC is outperforming a bit, which is bringing Bitcoin dominance down as well, of course, which can be seen here. And this was also, this 57% level was my first confirmation I wanted to see for further altcoin strength. So I would not be surprised, maybe it chops around this level a bit. But if it eventually starts breaking down from this level, I think we'll head to like 52, which in that case might cause some short-term Bitcoin strength again relative to alts, but we'll see. Generally, these levels has been getting respected quite well, but I mean, it's of course Bitcoin dominance is just a giant aggregate of all these coins versus BTC, so it's not like people are actually trading these specific levels, but people do use it as a tool to determine when they should switch in and back into alts. Well, of course, EBTC we just had. Then some altcoins I want to highlight. Fetch is one, has seen a nice steady ascent higher. I think it looks pretty decent here, but this is an important one which I would want to see flipped. You can see this horizontal has been touched quite a lot. It's now rejecting, so I do want to see it back above here to expect further upside. And I just want to highlight this tweet. Of course, at this point, I had no idea if it were to stop here. For all I knew, it would have gone higher. Lower first, because this was right at the August 5th dump, which was this thing, when everything, well, it doesn't look as big here, but to be fair, Fetch held pretty well, but this was the day where BTC was also down like 20% and ETH was down 20% for like a few days in a row, right when the yen carry trade thing blew up. So at this point, I didn't have any exposure, well, not much exposure to these AI coins, and this was the biggest one, no major unlocks. So I was like, okay, I would love to get some exposure here, but I've just been, I wasn't in this move up here, but luckily I also didn't end up buying on the way down here. So this was for me a point where I was like, okay, high time frame support, we're really capitulating here. I'll just get some spot. I don't look at it too much. Using spot, I don't have like a stop loss or anything like a major thing that can wick me out of my position. So decided to buy in there, and well, ended up being the bottom. Of course, this one was lucky in terms of timing, but it can keep going. I mean, I'm sure people were buying here already, but even then, like let's say you bought here, like at these previous lows, you'd still already be up like 70%. So that's perfectly fine, and that's why what I mainly wanted to highlight in these bigger cycles, you do have these corrections in between. So even in 2023, came down 70% before rallying. What is this, 18x? And then here we came down 80% before rallying whatever it can do now, but already like 2.5x. So yeah, there's really no need to FOMO even on spot positions in these things. And you're best off just taking it chill, and then yeah, I mean that's all you have to do in these bull markets. Just wait, buy the extreme weakness if the trend is still up, and then just sit it out and scale out on the way up. And then one coin that has had everyone's attention these days is XRP. So this is kind of crazy. Like it just went off since Trump victory. So it's up like what is this, like almost nearly 5x at this point. To the wick it did 5x. Yeah, I mean, not sure what to say. It broke its 2021 all-time highs, or not all-time highs, sorry, 2021 highs, which not a lot of coins do. And from this point out, yeah, I mean, I'm not exposed to it at all. I wish I was, of course. I think people are now looking at meme coins on this. Of course, if that's your thing, go and try. But I don't know. It's gonna be just another liquidity rotation there, I think. And when the spotlight goes on another coin or another ecosystem, people would just go away again. But yeah, I mean, if you're in this, personally, I would make a plan at least to scale out some profits. Of course, it's good to do it in little bits, because people have likely sold their entire bag here, they've done it here, and then it does another 2x or 3x. If you're in this, congrats. I would try to work with some Fibonacci's or horizontal levels to determine maybe dips or anything if you want to buy more. But for me personally, I really don't have an edge on this thing. It just went up so much. It's a massive market cap. It overtook Solana even. And I don't have a read or anything on this. So yeah, that's about all I can say. I'm not trading this either way. Not longing, not shorting, not holding, not anything. Then stacks, that is one I'm holding. So now doing a nice retest here at this $2-ish level. I do think this wants to head up. Like I think this is such a nice consolidation or base that is being built here. I think once this really gets going here and heads back to this $3-ish area, which was the all-time high up here, I think this can really start accelerating quite a lot. And I think a break above 100k by BTC would help a lot with this. Aave is the strongest DeFi coin out there for the entire cycle so far. I don't have a reason to think this will change around. I do hold some spots, but not a lot. I do think this 360 level will get taken out. Just makes a lot of sense, even from just a liquidity perspective. I mean, this is just a trend up that is starting to accelerate at this point. So I think it will continue. Although, same thing, but I do wanted to highlight here that there's a big unlock coming in like 2-ish months. January unlocks have been seeing some downside into them recently, and then the coin takes off afterwards because everyone's shorted or whatever. So the bullish unlock narrative team is back. Generally, I don't trade around these unlocks personally, because you get these high or super negative funding rates because everyone is shorting, but then people are still buying it on spot because they'll try to squeeze out the shorts or whatever. It's usually just a big mess where a lot of people lose money. So yeah, that's something I want to highlight. But in terms of the chart, I think as long as 105 is held, I think I'm just seeing this as a big range between 105 and 150. And I think you can trade it in between there, but really have your invalidation set. and don't stick with some idea for too long. Then we have LayerZero, which is also at all-time highs again, out of nowhere. So it has this big range between like 270, 560, and now breaking out. Like, as long as we don't dive below 560, I think this looks pretty good for just consolidation and then next leg up. I do hold some of this spot, mainly because I think this didn't have like a proper run. It consolidated since it's on the higher time frame since its launch. The market cap itself is pretty small. Fully diluted is very large, but I think the unlocks only start until June next year. So I think up until that point, there's probably like the team or whatever, they'll try to get this going and try to get the move up while the market cap is still relatively low. That's usually how this goes. Yeah, I just think it's still relatively easy to move considering how much money is behind this. Like in terms of investments, I think they got like 200 or 300 million. And the market cap itself, I'm not sure what it's at right now. It's like 700 or something. So yeah, that's why I think this is interesting, especially now it's in price discovery. Then ENS, I think we talked about this last week, being a good ETH beta coin. So we had this drawn out, like if this breaks, it's probably gonna accelerate. I didn't trade this, but it went crazy. It did like a 2x in a few days. So yeah, this is how these things can move, especially when you get like such a long consolidation. It was like 2 or 3 years or something, and then you finally break and you just get a massive move up. So that's pretty typical for the crypto market. You retrace months or years of downside in a few days. That's just how it goes. And then lastly, TAO. I think we also talked about as being here, being interesting, as long as it held the green level. It did that, still yet to break these local highs here. So maybe on some exchange it did take it out, but I'd say this is like an equal high. Looks pretty good in my opinion for further upside overall, but the AI narrative isn't super hot right now. So I don't hold any of this. I'm not trading it at this moment, but I'm keeping an eye on it. This is always on my watch list as it's a coin that tends to move a lot when it does. So could easily see this just chop around here for like another few months, and then it just takes off again. Something like that. That would not surprise me at all. So yeah, just keeping an eye on like this bigger structure. And as long as we trade in between here, it's probably gonna get choppy, but you can probably hop on some momentum if it does like a proper breakout. All right, that's all for now. Really, I'm just trying to take it super chill. I don't have a perfect read here or anything. I will buy blood or like some big downside. I'll consider opening swing trades on some interesting alts, but honestly, it would probably just be Bitcoin, Ethereum mainly for me at this point. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I also think, like, we didn't highlight that just yet, but Doge, I mean, all the meme coins are coming down quite a lot. I think this kind of price action generally does end with another leg up. So even if it goes somewhere like this, I think eventually you'll get something like this. At the start of this cycle, I wasn't sure Doge would reach its all-time high, but seeing how quickly it already moved, like it's less than a 2x from this point, I think it's pretty doable, especially with Elon, etc. I don't think this is too far-fetched. But yeah, let's say we get some insane downside like this, it's gonna look super scary. People are gonna think it's over. Of course, don't buy the knife as it's falling, but if you see some strength or consolidation or really a low time frame reversal, I think these kind of moves could turn out playing out pretty well here on the higher time frame, and that's something I would be looking out for. All right, having said that, that's all for now. So I hope you all enjoyed. I wish you all a good week ahead and a new month. And yeah, I will see you next week. Bye bye.